All right, everybody, let's get started. Thank you all for being here. The City of Cotulla Council will meet for a regular meeting on Thursday, November 9th, 2023 at 7 p.m. at the Alexander Convention Center, Conference Room 290, North IH 35, Access Road, Cotulla, Texas. This is an open meeting subject to open meeting laws of the state of Texas. Roll call. I believe we have Mr. Alejandro Orlando Garcia. Mr. City Secretary, did he come in? Did he call in? I'm sorry. So he's at work. Councilman, I need a first motion to excuse Mr. Garcia. First motion by Mr. Rodriguez. I need a second. Second by Mr. Ayala. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
All opposed say nay. Motion carries. Will everybody please join me in the Pledge of Allegiance, please?
To the flag of the United States of America, and to the republic which stands one nation under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Citizens to be heard. City Council cannot discuss any present issue, nor any action may be taken on any given issue at this time. Ms. City Secretary, is there any citizens to be heard? All right, moving on. Before we start, Councilman, we are going to explore other avenues on item number 8, 9, 10. And then on number 23, there was not a report filed by Ernie De La Rosa. So I need a motion to table these 4 items.
We're done with that.
Number 8, 9, and 10, and number 23.
Not number 9.
Yeah, number 8, 9, and 10. And number 23, 4 items.
Can I add why I mean, take 9?
We're gonna explore other avenues. And I don't think we're ready, 100% sure, feel comfortable by accepting these ordinances at the time. You're welcome. I seek a first motion to table these 4 items. I don't know if you guys have any time to see anything. That's another one of the reasons that we're gonna explore other avenues that we can have in the top of those items.
Is this a police report?
But that's the thing. Since we weren't ready for all of these questions to be asked, that's one, and then the ordinances. We needed more information to explore other avenues, whether we can do an interlocal agreement with the county like we had. So all of these things are still open for exploring. And that's the only reason I'm asking
Motion.
to table these items.
So we don't have any information, none of it.
Correct. So
Correct.
The motivation of the 3 items was really to create a part-time marshal's department to assist code enforcement. But I may want to go look and see if there's a possibility of an interlocal agreement through the county and the current sheriff's department to have an officer from the sheriff's department part-time to take care of the force. And in that case, in an event, the language in the current ordinances may change or may be different. So it may be futile to actually pass these ordinances.
If it doesn't work with, I guess, the communication with the county, these items that you're discussing, number 8 and 9, I would like to recommend probably put it in the charter. Let the people decide.
Okay. Yeah. So yeah, and that's on the agenda for tonight.
Appreciate it.
I'll second.
I have a first motion by Mr. Rodriguez, second by Mr. Ayala. All in favor say aye. Aye. All opposed say nay. Motion carries. Moving on to item number 5, Diplomatary and Committee Reports. Municipal Court, do we have a report?
We-
Municipal Court.
Yes, Mayor, we have a report from the municipal judge and there's no action, no payments collected, citations issued, or no court held for anyone this month. So there was no action in that department.
Excellent. And code compliance. Ms. Juanita, thank you for coming in.
Good evening, Mayor, Council, and Mr. Wright. So my report was submitted in your packets for review. In addition, I'd like to add that I currently have 4 properties that I have issued. I'm sorry. I've had 4 properties that are in enforcement. These properties are fixing to go to the newspaper, so we can proceed to the next step. And I have one that we've issued a work order to go ahead and clean. The property owner didn't comply to the violation notice, so we're ready to go ahead and proceed with that one to be cleaned up.
And do you have a value on what the cleaning is going to be for that particular yard or property?
So I've gotten with the streets department to get me certain estimates to be prepared for when we get to this step. This particular one that I have before me is $500.
Excellent.
And then on the report, there's several things I put in there. If there's any questions that council might have regarding that.
Where is the address on the one that you're talking about?
The one that's ready for the cleanup,
Correct.
it's 606 and 608 Johnson Street. And then lastly, just to update council, I did make my way to San Antonio on November 2nd to take the code enforcement officer exam, and I passed it. So I
Congratulations.
now have a license.
Congratulations.
Thank you.
Councilman, any other question on Ms. Juanita's report?
Yeah, I have a third question. You mentioned your animal control concerns. You're talking about that people call you in regards to some animals or something like that?
Yes, sir. So the complaints come directly to the office, and I'll take them down, and then I'll get with the animal control, and then he addresses them. If it's something that I need to address with the customer or the complainant, I do that. But most of the time, the ACO goes out there and checks it.
So that they
It actually goes to the office. The initial call is made to the office. The work order is issued. The work order is going to Ms. Juanita, or it's going to the code enforcement officer.
and especially on late evenings or weekends when an officer calls.
Yeah, so at that point, it's normal that they'll call the ACO directly, the sheriff's department.
Okay.
There's been instances where they have not been able to get through, so they've called me directly, and I've called Mr. Robbie Thomas, and he's got in contact with me.
Yeah, I've shared the same kind of calls as well.
I think these are calls that come like a customer just calls to the office, so the girls will pass it down. So then from there, we'll take the next step and make sure the proper department gets it.
My last question is, what are your working hours as a city office? Because we've gotten several calls not being there or not answering to the messages or anything like that.
The office hours are 8 to 5 with 1 hour of lunch. I do rounds morning and afternoon unless something specific comes in and I address that, unless I'm out for personal reasons. Today I was out at a funeral, but I made my way in as soon as I was done with that. Last week I left early because I had to take the exam. But other than that, it's 8 to 5 with 1 hour of lunch. And the lunch hour just depends if I've got
Correct.
something going.
That's it. Appreciate that. Thank you.
Thank you.
Any other questions for code compliance? Thank you, Ms.
Thank
Juanita,
you.
for that report. And again, congratulations for
Thank you,
passing.
sir.
Water and wastewater.
Mr. Ortonday had to pick up his kid. He wasn't able to make it. As far as the water report, it's there in the packet. We'll speak that there was a well number 9, which is the well over by the old swimming pool, Cherokee, LaSalle Streets.
Super well?
Yeah, there was a failure on that well. There's contactors that are associated with the VFD inside the well, and the contactors did not engage properly. Burned out one of the phases on the motor, actual electric motor, burned out the motor. Fortunately, the water department had another motor rebuilt that we were able to get installed and replaced. The contactors are ordered and they're going to be at a charge of around $13,000 for that single part.
Which well was that?
That's going to be well number 9.
And that's where Adobe Road.
No, it's Cherokee,
Wait.
Choctaw, Cherokee, LaSalle, and
The city, the city Subico,
Okay.
the old city
The
Subico.
reason I was asking because God called and I've gone over there on the one on W Road.
okay.
It's making a weird noise. I don't know. It's
No.
like a rain alert.
So no. But when the well starts up, there's a rush of air that comes out of the wellhead, and that's one noise that you'll hear there. You can also hear the actual motor itself will squeal. It's a new well there. I'm sure the people in the area are not used to it, but there are normal noises that come out. Noises that are adverse noises would be like a very hard vibration sound or a sound of marbles or rocks clacking together. Working in the department, we're very familiar with the negative sounds of it.
How are your water testing coming along? Pretty good.
From what I can see, we've passed everything. We've passed everything for a very long time. The actual water system for Cotulla, which isn't advertised as much as it probably should be, is a superior system. Reasoning for being a superior system is because we actually do very well on our sampling. There is a website that you can go to. It's Drinking Water Watch Texas, and you can actually find this information on there.
Is it possible you can have somebody check the sprinkler system at the city park, because apparently they're running like
Yes. So Renee,
Veterans Park?
Renee has expressed this to me this week.
Yeah,
He gave me a quote today. There is one gentleman within LaSalle County that is a licensed irrigator. The quote came from him. It was $98 and I approved it. So he's going to go and he's going to go ahead and get it running at the city park. And then he's going to look at Front Street also, because there's issues on Front Street. As far as the wastewater, same issue. You have a report. All their sampling has been within permit levels. We haven't had any exceedances of the permit. Only thing I would like to report, which is pretty stale, is that the sewer line going to the airport, we are still waiting for one bore to occur in the project. We have notified the engineer to let them know that has not occurred and it needs to be done, and the engineer is working with the contractor to get it completed.
Any other questions, Councilman?
no.
That's not bad for having all these water wells. That's right. It's done real good. Well, moving on to gas.
Mr. Ordenday also gives that report. This report is also in writing. There's really anything major to speak of with the gas department. They do show that they had 4 water leaks last month. Crews responded to 4811 locates. Looks like they've repaired seven of the leaks from the leak survey. We have a total of 34 that was present at that time. Compliance and market price for gas is currently at $3.95. I will report though that I do have a contract on my desk from West Texas Gas. I've talked to them. I have not signed yet. I am consulting with two experts on what they're asking, and I'm getting their feedback before I agree to sign it. So, which would be Mr. Jeff Snowden and Simon Pena.
David, there's also
Yeah.
number 7 on that flood program, on that floodplain project. It's still being looked at or being delayed, or I know that they approved.
So the floodplain mapping project has been approved through FEMA, and that was done several months ago. The issue that we're running into is FEMA has not updated their system, and the insurance companies are not going to make any changes to insurance rates in the city of Cotulla within the floodplain until FEMA actually updates it. Responses from FEMA is that they have several cities that they're updating their floodplain, and they're working on it. FEMA is a federal agency, and we can't move them no faster than they want to move, no matter how hard we try.
In other words, we're expecting a letter from them signed or approved or
We're literally
so where the
yeah.
homeowners can take it to the bank and insurance.
So the city, we issued a letter to the people within the floodplain several months ago. But the insurance company is not even going to take that into consideration. They're going to go directly to FEMA and see what FEMA's data is that they have posted. So we're literally waiting for FEMA to update their information. At that point, I believe it takes 500 properties within the city limits out of the floodplain.
That's in Petula. Right?
That's in Cthulhu, yes.
That's a letter of map revision.
Yeah.
David, coming back to the gas department, is there any way you can have somebody check on a gas meter that's on Southwest Lane that's inside the property and probably have to move it outside their property?
We definitely could. If you want to tell me now or call City Hall and we can
I'll call City Hall.
give me the address.
Yeah, I'll give you that.
Okay.
That's it.
Understood.
Any questions on gas, Councilman? No, thank you for that report. Moving on to streets and parks.
Streets and parks. Okay, also Robbie Thomas, he had a doctor's appointment in the afternoon and he didn't think he would be able to make it to the meeting. He also has a written report here. I guess the note here, Trash-A-Rama cleanup was successful. Yeah, that's him. 540 yard containers were full of miscellaneous debris. About 200 regular scrap tires were collected. So the event was successful. These type of events with the cleanups, they obviously help the community and help us beautify our community. And I would like to see them happen about every 3 months throughout the year. We talk about it and I bring it up to Robbie and they're very proactive. The staff actually enjoys getting the overtime and enjoys, doing it. So I've worked with them doing it. And I'm going to tell you that, I worked in the field for many years here, but it's a lot of work. And those guys they're really dedicated to do it. So it's, yeah, very appreciate everything they've done for us.
Status on the tires, they already eliminated the ones on the field.
Yes, but I have a new pile. From this cleanup, we have another 200 tires. I asked Robbie to give me a calculation of how many tires we can move out of the city when they come and pick them up, and it was 215 tires. I have signed several, I believe 5 requisitions at this point to remove the pile of tires that they have, and it's my belief that it has been removed. I signed another one this week for this load of tires, and they're charging $1,200 a load to remove the tires from the city.
And how's the sweeper coming along?
The sweeper is breaking down a lot. We're having a lot of issues with. I think the last issue and Mel can speak about it. He's here.
Oh, sorry.
But he had a metal. I guess there's some kind of metal plate that's inside the hopper in the back, and it weighs a ton, and it just fell off and fell over. I am looking for a sweeper along with the 3 trucks. Capital improvement we have a capital improvement of $168,000 in the budget. So I will be coming to council with a government capital loan to go ahead and purchase a sweeper, which is going to average around $300,000 to $350,000 plus 3 vehicles for the city staff.
That'll probably be in the next agenda.
No, sir, it will not. It's going to be, I would say in March or April that I'm going to bring that to the agenda. And my reasoning for that is that the city has $1.2 million in loans that need to be paid out in February or March of 2024. So I want to make sure that the city has those funds before I go and make any other purchases.
Yeah, that sweeper is a new sweeper that's smaller, but it holds the same amount of yardage of dirt or whatever it's collected from the street.
Yeah, we saw a few exhibits at TML when we went to Dallas, and there were some there that were very, very nice. They had one unit that the mayor was speaking about, and it was a smaller unit, but it did hold the same amount of debris. It had an arm brush on the front to help sweep the debris under it, but then that brush would turn sideways so they could go to the curb and they could cut the grass with it. so they could do all the edging around the city. It was very interesting. And that unit, it was all stainless steel, where what we have now is probably an iron basket unit, which is why it's rotting. And it was $50,000 less than the unit that we are quoted that's identical to the one we currently own. So it was interesting. It was nice. The company has
Very nice.
offered us to do a demo and leave it with us for a month. I have not initiated that with them yet because I'm worried about the loans and I would like to get that taken care of before I initiate it.
Mhm. Any other questions on streets and parks?
No, sir.
Sanitation. Mr. Martinez, thank you for coming in.
Good evening, Council. Mr. Mayor, Mr. Wright, in your package, you have my transfer station starting with October 2023. October 21st, we did have a transfer agency at the Rasta. We did have 5 40-yard containers that were connected from the cleanup. Those 5 40-yard containers was the 2023 14 tons, and 46 tons and 280 pounds of debris was collected on that day. We also collected 1 scrap metal container for 3.79, 7 tons of 180 pounds of metal was collected from the structure line. And I estimated the street department 250 scrap tires for that day. That was I believe that was our second trip of the year.
Well, when was the last time we did the transfer?
We had it in February, March.
Well, I worked one after that.
Yes, that'll be the third one. I'm sorry.
Okay.
Our
Yeah.
third one. I apologize.
Councilman, any other questions? for
I have
Mr.
one
Martinez?
question for him. On the trip to the metals that you took to Pearsall, David, maybe you can answer this. The amount of money that is collected from that, is that going to a separate budget?
That money should be going into the general fund.
Okay. Is that located on the Two Garcia's report also? Yeah. But can we start like accumulating and adding a line, even though? So
Yeah,
start
we
building
can
up
add a line item when they take
On the
scrap.
metal, at the Texas Auto Salvage in Pearsall and Wilkinson and Carrizo, Mr. Thomas is the register documentary, so he's the only one that can go with the roll-off driver over there, and he collects the money and brings it over to the city office, I believe. And so on the amounts, I usually don't see the amounts because he goes
okay.
he goes with it.
Just as long as they can, Mr. Garcia can put one line on the budget.
I have 90 days to remove the metal by TCQ. So if it gets filled up before 90 days, then I'll go ahead and do it. So I'm assuming like estimating like 1.5 months, maybe 2, and then has to go.
And during the Trashorama, you collect about that much in one day,
Well,
right?
and one day we'll collect it. And the transfer station that's open to the public Wednesdays and Saturdays, it takes some time.
Councilman, any other questions for Mr. Martinez?
No, sir.
Mr. Martinez, thank you very much for that report.
Thank you, Mayor, council members, Mr. Wright.
Thank you.
Animal control. Thank you for coming in, David.
Good evening, Council. So, what is it? 7 mysteries. I didn't have anything high in the trap. That's what I get. And the computer. So, Switch was alive. He was sent back into the wild. Cannons are cannons are conditioning grassroots areas, and the dogs are rescued or transferred to different states, such as Mexico, and here in the States, we're right in the States. Our reports.
David, can you answer this question? The housekeeping for the animal control, I know it's kind of old already. Is there in the future something we build like a new kennel?
There's no plan at this time, and I really haven't even thought about it. So I believe it is something we could do though.
Okay, appreciate that. Thank you.
Any other questions for David, Councilman?
No, sir. Thank you.
Thank you. David, thank you
Yeah.
very much for that report. Main Street. Thank you, Margie, for coming in.
Good evening, Mayor, Council, Mr. Wright. My report is in your packet. If you have any questions, I'm here to answer them. One thing that is very significant to Main Street and to the administration, and should be to you as well, is that yesterday we were notified that the Cristo Rey Cemetery is now a historic Texas cemetery. And that was, the Texas Historic Commission has designated that as of yesterday. So you will find that certificate in your packet as well. And we will collaborate at a future date for the official announcement and ceremony for this particular event. That was 5 years, according to Mr. Dovalina, 5 years in the works. So that's something very important to the South
Big
County.
accomplishment.
Any questions?
I have one question,
Yes, sir.
and maybe David can answer this. I believe Main Street is in charge of Front Street. Am I correct?
That's correct. There's a district that they're in charge of, the historic district.
I know that Front Street has one sidewalk, or one handicap ramp, and it's in front of Mr. Barber's and the old city office.
Mhm.
Is there something that we can do or communicate with the historical to build another one further down towards where Ben's Western where it is?
So last year also there, remember when the company Grant Works that we were deliberating a grant of $500,000
Correct.
for the Front Street? So that grant was specific for ADA to improve for ADA improvements on Front Street. We can continue to look for grants to do it. I think the problem with the grant that came before council is that they wanted us to designate Front Street a slum or a blighted area. And the city, I believe at that time, agreed that we put lots of money into that area and we beautified that area, and it didn't want it to happen. As far as a budget item to do it, in the future, we may be able to budget it, but I think I need to look for grants to do something to that effect.
Appreciate it. Thank you. No other questions.
Thank you. Thank you.
Thank you, Margie, for that report. Accounting. Thank you, Mr. Garcia, for coming in.
You just learned this.
Good evening, Mayor. Mr. Wright. The first report up is the sales tax collection. For the month of November, the city collected $187,298. On the next page, it's going to be the hotel motel tax collections. For the month of October, the first month in the quarter, the city collected $113,685. It looks a little, short for the first month of the quarter, but it could be because, they're, just taking their time getting that money to us. But we'll see how November and December treat us, and we'll go from there.
I have a question before you go any further.
Yes,
Sorry
sir.
about that. on taxes, is every hotel so far up to date on their taxes, or they are in the matrix right now?
That's a good question. I can get that answer from you. I think Jen has the chart of everybody that's paid up and where they're, where they're at with that. I don't.
When I checked recently and there was a question about one hotel being up to date, and then we found out that that hotel direct deposits into the city, so they were up to date. Yes, everyone's up to
So
date.
everybody's up to date. Okay, thank you.
I will verify again, but that's what I was told last week.
Thank you.
On page 6 of the statement of revenue and expenditures, it's going to be the totals for the general fund. The total revenue year to date for the general fund is at $212,559. Total expenditures are $180,446, which nets the city $32,113. On page 9 is going to be the total for the water and sewer. Excuse me, the water and sewer. The total revenues for the water and sewer department year to date is going to be $123,251. Total expenditure is $67,238, which is a net income of $56,012. On page.
Before you go any further,
Sure.
David, on the expenditures of the sewers and water parts and things like that,
Mhm.
is this also reflecting on the construction that is being done on these streets, Hickey Street, Mendes Street, and all that?
So, yes, sir. So the county, a lot of the streets that were repaved by the county and are still currently being repaved, 90% of them, they flipped the bill to replace our infrastructure underground, our water, not the sewer and the gas, but they did pay to do our water and our service lines. Monterey Street, we paid $60,000 into it to South Construction, which came to council several months ago, and the county paid the rest. I believe it was another $40,000 on top of that. Dilly Lane, the county paid 100%. Hickey, they paid 100%. Coronado Street, we paid for that one 100%. So that some of these parts that are here are for that. The other thing is the cost of parts have skyrocketed. Like it's gone up very high.
Correct.
I believe we paid $25,000 in emergency parts last month. And a year ago, 2 years ago, that probably would have been around $12,000 worth of parts. Prior to that, we didn't make a very big parts purchase for months. So the guys were already running out and they replenished.
Thank you.
On page 11, it's going to be the municipal gas fund totals. Total revenue is $15,928. Total expenditures are $10,748, which is a net income of $5,178. On page 13 is going to be the solid waste department. Total revenue for the solid waste department is $69,231. Total expenditures are $61,764, which is a net income of $7,466. The last report attached to this is going to be the check register for the month of October. That concludes my report. Is there any questions?
The councilman wanted a line item added
Yes, sir.
to,
Yeah, the reason I had asked how often that's recurring is because if it's happening once, twice, 3 times a year, then that miscellaneous income would probably be the best place for it. But if it's something that we can do to, get that going, we can do it. I mean, it's just the amount was $1,000, and it's not recurring, and it's kind of a miscellaneous revenue. And then, I mean, that would be the perfect place for it.
And then another one that I know maybe the city for the future, they may be having an auction for the equipment that is surplus. And maybe that could be another line item that can put it on.
Sure. Oh, for sure. That's a big one, yeah.
The request has gone out to the department to get VIN numbers, 8-year models, and all that information to actually bring it to council for approval to be auctioned off.
No other question.
Mr. Garcia, thank you very much for that report. Moving on to item number 6, approval of minutes, October 12, 2023. Councilman, do you need a moment to review the minutes, or if you've had time to review the minutes already?
Already.
Ms. City Secretary, any changes were made on the minutes? Thank you for that. If you had a chance to review the minutes, I seek a first motion to approve item number 6. First motion by Mr. Ayala, second by Mr. Rodriguez. All in favor, say aye. All opposed, say nay. Motion carries. Moving on to item number 7, discussion and possible action on an ordinance for the city of Cotulla. Code of Ordinance amending chapter 58 zoning. Article 1, section 58-5, amendments 58-8. Failure to request variance not grounds for continuance of court proceedings. Section 58-79, Class A and B, Single Family Residence District. Section 58-83, Class F, Retail Business District. Section 58-184, Lots Designation. Section 58-235, Zoning Classifications, providing, authorizing, declaring a public purpose, incorporating recitals, providing a repeller and severability, setting an effective dates.
Mayor, that's a mouthful for
Yes, it is.
a rather simple change. The city has had on its books forever that it has a planning and zoning commission, which has never existed as far as I know. And under the law, a type A general law municipality may have the city council act as its planning and zoning commission, which is what you've been doing.
We've been doing that, yes.
Forever. So what I did was I created an ordinance just basically getting rid of the planning and zoning commission. If you ever want to have one, you can do it. I think it's hard for people to understand why you would have the same group of people be your P and Z and the final approval, which I've seen done. So you go have one here before them, and then you come to the city council. It's not necessary, and it streamlines the process and reduces frustration. And
Yes.
trying to explain things to people that are not really wanted.
Councilman, any feedback on what the counselor is talking about? Any questions?
No questions.
Now I seek a first motion to approve item number 7.
Make a motion.
First
Aye.
motion by Mr. Ayala, I need a second.
Aye.
Second by Mr. Zertuche. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
All opposed, say nay. Motion carries. Number 11, discussion and possible action on the ordinance for the city of Cotulla, Texas, amending ordinance and clarifying the description of properties annexed and exclude only a portion of partial 5 being part of a 11.40 acre tract of land out of the McMullen and McGlone survey number 10.5 abstract 569, LaSalle County, Texas, authorizing the city administrator for revise the official boundary and rezoning and zoning maps for the city to reflect the correction, providing for repeller, declaring a public purpose, incorporated recital, providing for severability, and setting an effective dates.
Mayor, back in 2015, the city annexed some property, several properties. Among them was a parcel that was identified as parcel 5 that contained a couple of different properties. One of those properties belonged to a lady named Betty Patterson,
Yes,
who never consented to be annexed.
Correct.
That's from 468.
Right.
yeah, 468.
The council took action a couple of months ago on that. They actually de-annexed her, but I didn't like the description of the property in the ordinance. It was unclear as to whether you were de-annexing the entire parcel 5 or
Or
whether
partial.
you were just de-annexing her portion of it. So this corrects it so that 10 years from now, when the appraisal district looks at this and says, what, they'll have a better description, and it clears up any uncertainties with regard to that property. So it really doesn't change anything. It just clarifies the legal description.
Councilman, any questions on item number 11?
Just one for David. Is this the big map you have in your office on the zoning that was marked on that big map that you had, that you showed me one day?
Yeah, the one that's in the frame,
Correct.
1960, this property is not on that map. This property is actually outside that limit.
Didn't we get a new map now that we, the elections are coming in and all these things? So we've had some issues with people saying that they're part of the city and they're not. And did we get another map?
Yeah, there's a new map. It's in Bianca's office at the moment. We are going to frame it and we're going to post it out. I want to put it in the lobby so people can see it.
Yeah,
Would that be also posted on the website?
Yes, we can put it on the website.
yeah, that one right there is very important because we had quite a few people that asked me and I checked and they were not, and they've been paying taxes. So I don't know if it was redone or.
So there's gonna be a legend on that map, and it's gonna show what's actually in the city and what's outside. Looking at the map, you gotta look very closely because there's areas where streets are annexed, but the properties surrounding the streets are
Or
not.
not.
So you gotta really follow that legend there on that map.
On number 11, item 11, on that annexation, or she's gonna get reimbursed back for all that money.
There is a reimbursement check coming back to her. It's gonna be for the last 3 years that she's had served.
But it's not what you think it's for, because the appraisal district never billed her
charged her.
for the taxes.
Oh, okay.
This is a out-of-city commercial water rate. For some reason,
right.
she got charged.
So she
Yeah.
was being charged commercial outside city limits rate.
So
So we
it
corrected
takes a
that.
while for them to,
Yeah,
and it may be that with the GI, the appraisal district uses GIS, which is what we're using. So it should be a matter of just transferring data between the two entities. So it's a lot better than it was, and that 1960s map is great. It needs to be in a museum. Because it's not,
yes, it's
it's wonderful document, but it's not correct.
Right.
Councilman, any other questions?
No, sir.
If not, I seek a first motion to approve item number 11.
Make a motion.
First motion by Mr. Rodriguez, second by Mr. Ayala. All in favor, say aye. All opposed, say nay. Motion carries. Moving on to item number 12, discussion and possible action on the resolution of the city of Cotulla directing the appointment of a charter commission in manner prescribed by Texas Local Government Code and Chapter 9.002, authorizing the city administrator to order the implementation hereof, the facilitate its requirements, declaring a public purpose, providing a repeller, providing for severability, and setting an effective date.
Mayor, this is the item you asked to be brought back to the council. As you're aware, there was a previous charter that was adopted, that was approved by the commission, submitted to the voters, which was rejected. You had asked for a new commission.
Well, the council asked for a new committee. So what I asked them to do, I asked them to bring all 10 names.
Right.
I believe they were probably unhappy with the committee I had chose the first time. I wanted everybody to be happy this time around, so they brought the names. Now, Councilman, it was brought to my attention that we only need 7 names.
Correct.
But we can also carry on 3 backups, so we can keep all 10 names.
Correct.
But you councilman need to choose which 7 you want. Mr. Lopez has the list. Mr. Lopez, if you wanna
Let me read out the names.
read out the names.
But one thing you could do is you could allow them to decide among themselves who wants to be the alternates.
Okay.
You can make your recommendations, and when they have their meeting, they can decide it.
But we can accept all 10 names today.
Yes.
Okay. Just go ahead and read out the names and then we'll move to accept the names.
We have Sandra Sartuche, Dora Hatton, Patricia Rodriguez, Jacob Hurd, E.T. Page, Teodoro Martinez Senior, which is Marisol Gonzalez, Noe Rodriguez, Gilbert Ñaves, and Manuel Sanchez III.
Councilman, any questions on those names? If it's satisfactory, I need a first motion to accept all 10 names on item number 12.
Let me say that, within the motion, if you would allow the actual commission to determine
choose the
who
7,
they want to
okay.
be the alternates, and if they can't
Got
do it, let them come back here to the council.
Got it. Need an approval on item number 12, providing that the council amongst themselves decide who they want the 7 names, or out of the 10 names, 7 of them can serve on the committee and 3 as backups. So I seek a first motion to approve item number 12 with these basis. Under these
I gotta say, are this committee gonna read or create a new charter ideas, or is it the same one?
Let me.
You can answer that.
Okay, first of all, I don't want to split words, but it is a commission. So it's not a committee. They have more than just advisory powers. So they will actually go in and decide themselves what they want to do. So they're free to look at the prior charter that was approved,
Okay.
make some changes to it, submit that. They can throw the whole thing out to come up with a brand new one. Or they can decide that the other one was, is fine and approve it, submit it to the council and let.
But
the
it
council-
all comes back to us anyways.
All right.
So also, all 10 of those people are actually on the commission. The way that it's worked in the past is not all of them show up for the meetings.
Correct.
So if you've got 7 people that show up out of the 10 1 week, and then 1 week, those 7 may or may not have been the ones that were the actual commission members that may have been the alternates, but they actually function interchangeably when the other ones are out. It actually works well because I know some people work and they can be there. You know how it is with boards. People can't always get there when they need to. Unfortunately, we're dealing with a time crunch again because your election is going to have to be ordered early next year. There's not a lot of time to meet between now and then. They don't necessarily have to submit it for this election. You could have an election in November if you wanted to have one next year, or you could wait until next year.
Another thing, when this committee gets together to have the discussion, is it open up to the public?
Absolutely.
Okay, in my opinion, because where they were having it at the city office in that little meeting room, it's kind of small for them for the audience to sit. Is there any other place where they can have it?
They had them here.
Okay.
They had one at the city hall for some reason, and I don't know why.
Okay.
But anybody can walk in.
It was
and
the commission.
There's an agenda. It's public.
Okay.
They're sworn in. They take an anti-bribery oath, an oath of office, and just
Sure.
like you guys do. They're commission members. Now, they can't. The only thing they can do is come back to the council and say, "Here you go." And the council does this or they do this. And if they say yes, then you put it on the ballot when the council decides to put it on the ballot. But it is a process that they go through. Since we've done it before, we have a better idea how to do it. And hopefully you'll have citizen participation. They will be, to the extent that we can, they're broadcast. I don't know why we had one meeting at City Hall. It just got scheduled there. But there were several that were held here and they were broadcast.
And the last question, can it be broadcast?
Yes.
It's broadcast.
Another question.
Seek a first motion to approve item number 12. First motion by Mr. Lopez, second by Mr. Sertuche. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
All opposed, say nay. Motion carries. Moving on to item number 13, discussion and possible action on an invoice estimate number 3 submitted by Sal's Construction Management LLC in the amount of $2,700 for the Cotulla Baylor Sidewalk Improvement Project.
So the next two, number 13, number 14 are the final draws of the project. The contractor has completed. It is set to plans how it was supposed to be. We did add striping, which I see the striping is faded already, as you had told me. I will be making a call to the contractor to correct that. This particular contractor, we've never had an issue with their warranties. They've always done what they were supposed to do.
Because I don't know if they're using thermoplastic, the striping.
They didn't.
Yeah, because I think it needs to be thermoplastic with glass beads
Okay.
in order to reflect better at night, especially.
So the motivation for the paint versus the thermoplastic was the price. So it's 3 times the price for that. That's why it came out of its paint.
Yeah, because it didn't last about a night.
I saw that, and I'll address that and tell them they need to do something better.
All right. I seek a first motion to approve item number 13. If you have no discussion.
Aye.
First motion by Mr. Sertuche, second by Mr. Rodriguez. All in favor, say aye. All opposed, say nay. Motion carries. Item number 14 is also estimate number 4 for the same company, Sal's Construction Management LLC, in the amount of $14,940.75. Also for the Baylor Sidewalk Improvement Project. I seek a first motion to approve item number 14 as well.
Aye.
First motion by Mr. Sertuche, second by Mr. Rodriguez. All in favor, say aye. All opposed, say nay. Motion carries. Moving on to item number 15, discussion and possible action on an application for pavement submitted by KJ Oil Field Service LLC in the amount of $162,675 for the Plaza Florita Restroom and Park Facilities Project.
This dollar amount is for the bathroom project that's going to be at the Plaza Florita, the new bathroom project. This is for their mobilization and for the dirt work that has been done to date. It has been inspected and it has been signed off by the engineer.
Who's the inspector that's doing the inspection?
We use okay, so as far as compaction and the dirt work, there's a firm, their name is Castle out of Laredo, and they did the inspections on that. Those inspections have gone to the architect and myself. And as far as the building inspection is going to be done by Miss Annabelle, which is the city inspector.
On
So
the building itself.
on the building itself, concrete, utilities, everything else that has to do with the project.
And the inspector that you mentioned first, he's doing the soil
Compaction.
sampling
Compaction.
and all that.
Yep. And that company is out of Laredo.
Any other questions, Councilman, on item number 15? I seek a first motion to approve item number 15. First motion by Mr. Rodriguez. I seek a second. Second by Mr. Ayala. All in favor, say aye. All opposed, say nay. Motion carries. Moving on to item number 16. Discussion and possible action on a letter submitted by Cotula Garden Club requesting a monetary donation to help their Wreaths Across America program.
Do we have anybody here?
Good evening. I'm Patricia with the Cotula Garden Club. We have taken on the project of the Wreaths Across America, which is where we come in and put wreaths on all the graves of the veterans in LaSalle County is what we have projected to try to do. There are 7 cemeteries in LaSalle County. We included the small one that is in Fowlerton, even though it falls into McMullen County because the majority of the people that are there are from Fowlerton, which is part of LaSalle County. So we have worked on this about a year, but our problem was we had one person working on it and something happened there. Sorry. Then we had another person working on it. She had some medical issues, so I took it over. So I'm coming in late in regards to this. We have had other monetary donations for it, but we are lacking some funding to be able to complete the full wreath for every cemetery in LaSalle County. What we have estimated is 378 total veteran graves in the counties or in the county. And we were looking at asking if the city council or city of Cotula would be able to help donate to our program.
Okay, yes, ma'am. I have a couple questions. This event, which is, in my opinion, is a great event, and it's honorable at what you're doing. I would like to know, though, is this event bring anybody into LaSalle County from other counties or anywhere else in the state?
What do you mean, like bring
If
anything?
there's any family members
Members
that
of the-
come and
The
visit
people,
the graves at the time that you're gonna be putting, so.
We are
Yes.
on a national registry now since we have already registered all of these cemeteries. So if they look at that, they can see that these family members, that we are going to be doing this for their family members. They can also register so they can purchase a wreath that we can go in and take and put on these graves. But as of so far, we haven't had anybody out of state saying that they would be here. We've had people in state that have talked about coming and helping us to join. A lot of veterans that are from the area have talked to us about coming and helping to be able to do this.
Okay. The one issue I'm going to address to council is that these 2 items for the garden club, I do not believe to be eligible items for the hot tax. The city of Cotula does not have an indigent fund like the county does for donations. If you decide to make a donation, it will come out of tax directly out of local taxpayer funds, and there would have to be a budget amendment to make this happen. So I would have to come back to council and I'd have to amend another department's budget to be able to give this donation because we don't have it available and it's not in our budget.
And it doesn't,
even though that you have veterans that are deceased on the cemetery or around LaSalle County, and people that are family members that actually come from out of state and they stay in a hotel motel.
If that is the case, then that makes it eligible for the hot tax. So
So
what
some
happens?
people come from out of state and visit their graves or loved ones.
I'm sure there are, we just don't know that they come to visit.
Okay,
them. You know what I mean? That's where I,
And then the hot tax would have to be used for an advertisement to bring and put heads in bed. So the actual funds that we give them out of hot tax would have to be used for advertisement or something to that effect.
Do you advertise it?
we've been putting in the paper that we are going to be having the Wreath of America ceremony on December the 16th in front of, well, we hadn't picked the for sure destination until this past week. So we will be having it that day. They specify, Wreaths Across America specifies it. And so it will be December 16th at 10 a.m. on the courthouse lawn. That's where we're going to have it.
It's it's up to council.
Is it one of the things that,
it'll come out of general fund.
Yeah.
is it one of the things that your organization can also put a wreath or whatever you want that you're putting right there in the middle of Veterans Park?
We have asked the Wreaths Across America. We are looking at 2 wreaths. We're putting one inside the courthouse where the memorial is for the veterans, and then we can put one in the park too. That is not a problem at all.
And one of the other things that maybe David can correct me, also, if we do go about doing this, making sure this organization uses the city of Catula emblem or giving thanks to the city of Catula.
Yeah,
in
the
order
sponsor.
to sponsor as a sponsor in order for you
That's-
to be eligible for that.
Yeah, that's normally would be a requirement.
One
That's
of the
something we've
requirements.
asked for.
Yeah, and if you can put it on your website, if we do this, that city of Catula is
Has made
a
a
sponsor,
donation.
yes.
Exactly. No, I don't think that would be a problem.
So what's being asked for is that an actual donation to buy the rates
Correct.
rather than to
Correct.
advertise.
To
it.
advertise.
Yeah, I think it's hard to say no, but I don't think that is something that I think.
Yeah, it's not an eligible item, unfortunately.
The city cannot make a donation for private purpose unless there's a public purpose. So it's probably on the mind, but if the city wanted to donate some money, it probably could, because those are cemeteries that are in the city.
That's
I would like to do something like this. I would like to do that.
But when you do that, you have to have an agreement.
Correct.
Yeah, there's a contract, an agreement that,
Contracts.
yeah, that we are allowed to see where you spent the money and,
Yes.
Yeah.
We could do that.
So what is the amount you were looking for, ma'am?
To donate. We're lacking. It's a little bit, it'll make a difference.
Is there a possibility that the city could give something other than cash? Equipment, helping put the wreaths out, and things of that sort?
we've never been asked that, so I'm sure that,
Has it been done here before?
These
That's my last knowledge.
Because there's two line items that pay for that, correct?
that's correct.
So, my opinion, that he's gonna be asking for donation for both.
Really, it should have just been
Just
one. I
one.
sent 2 letters in regards to explaining, giving specific information about the race across America.
So in reality, we don't have
It's
to read.
really
Just
one.
one?
It's together.
Combine them together.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I don't have a problem.
Councilman, if you're okay with,
Make a motion.
agreeing to donate, the 1,000 that she's lacking to complete her fundraiser.
Just for a
Yeah,
good cause.
Execute. So basically, first motion, and that number's $1,000.
Aye.
Item number 16, first motion is made by Mr. Ayala, second by Mr. Rodriguez. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
All opposed, say nay. Motion carries. Item number 17, Counselor, how do we, since it was, like a double print, item number 17 is part of, item number 16.
And then just pull it from the, I mean, you don't need to table it, just, you can pull it as the presiding officer.
We pulled it.
Thank you very much. We
Thank you very much
appreciate it.
for that. Moving on to item number 18. Discussion and possible action on a request submitted by Ezequiel and Dina Romero, requesting for permission to rezone 1111th Macumber Street, lot 10, 11, and 12, block 52 of Oriental, well, can never say that, Heights subdivision from Class A, single-family residence, to Class G, commercial business district to allow an RV rental business.
So this property
It-
here,
Most of the times we've been, whenever they've been in residential areas or neighborhoods, actually neighborhoods, we've denied these before. simply because they're in neighborhoods. But this one, David, where's the location of this?
This one is behind the Wendy's and Executive Inn. Macomber's a street that's directly behind there. Executive Inn has modular homes, I believe to be about 25 modular homes behind a high fence, and this is right behind that.
Is Miguel and Dina here?
Yeah, Ms. Ramiro, are you here? Would you like to address the council?
Good evening.
Thank you for coming in, ma'am.
Mhm.
Just tell us a little bit about what you want to do with your property and.
It's rezoning, 3 lots located in 1111 Camber Street, Cotulla, Texas, lot 10, 11, and 12. On Oleander Heights, South 1084. From a Class A single-family residence to a Class G commercial business. We just want to put some RVs.
Just RVs, no
RVs.
mobile
Well,
homes,
she already
no-
has a little snow cone. Well, she sells snow cone. It's a portable building.
Okay.
And yes,
Councilman, if the area is already almost all commercial, is that correct?
We have to go through the zoning process.
Yeah, that's what I was gonna say, just go through the rezoning formalities, and it shouldn't be a problem as long as the
Well,
council accepts them.
that would have to be, one is for RVs. What's the other one for?
Well, there's 3 lots is what she's saying.
No, I'm looking at the next agenda. item. That's a tire and, yeah, that's a different.
Yeah, it's totally
The
different.
city passed a special use permit ordinance back in the early 2010s, basically saying, we're not going to allow this. We're only going to give you a permit, but it's only good for a year during a housing emergency. And that's on the books.
That's
So
correct.
you can't rezone this. You can't do it tonight anyway. They can apply, but we have not approved that, and the RVs were considered temporary housing. So they're not something where you're zoning it to a permanent use. So what I'm hearing is next to each other with water and utility hookups.
Is that it?
Tell the applicant that they can't do it, but the zoning code does not allow.
Process and then come back to council at that point after he gets the signature.
Yeah, so there's no action.
No, our code of ordinances says you can't do this unless there's a housing emergency. Period.
Is this property where Banyades had the
It's right next to it.
Is it next to it?
This one,
Everybody was coming into the city wanting to do this and saying, okay,
Yeah, he said no.
we're only gonna do it for a year. And you, the city, the mayor has to declare a housing emergency.
That's right.
The people were putting in the
And we did in 2012, 13, 14, and it ended in 15.
So
And the only way we've allowed them is if the property has already been commercial. The property has to be commercial already. That's where they come in. But this is not. This is residential.
I think that was the issue. People were coming in. The only way to properly answer the question is submit the application, bring it in, let's see what it is. But the ordinances do not allow that. It's like somebody setting up a metal shed and saying, I'm going to live there.
So she would have to contact Bianca on Monday.
Yes.
Fill out the application.
according to my there and they couldn't find the ordinance in they had said that they had put them, but we couldn't find them. That it,
Fine,
that you couldn't put any RVs.
no, you can't,
No, she
not on residential.
she wants to know that apparently they could not find the ordinance when it was proved that. nobody could put it.
So what they're asking to do is to rezone it to commercial and then do it.
Right.
But
Right, and get the people in front of us. That's what they did. They got some signatures of the neighbors and they approved their commercial zone.
I think it's Patel actually bought the street. He actually bought some of that property there.
Yeah, he did.
Those are not RVs. Those are.
Yeah, they're
They're-
modular homes.
They're modular homes,
Right,
yeah.
So, as far as a modular home or trailer house, you can put those and probably be rezoned for it. But an RV,
But the modular homes we can.
you would have to
Okay.
go through the same process and come to council and all that, but you'd be able to do it.
That
And-
area, if I'm thinking about it correctly, it is a commercial
That's,
area. The
that's
problem
what,
with the RVs is that they're temporary.
Right.
right.
They're really not
Up to
intended to be.
But
Lived
the
in other
snow
than
cone,
temporary
it's already
uses.
commercial?
Hmm?
We have
No,
the snow
no,
cone?
it was it's a portable.
Okay.
So you can remove it from there and you can
I think the city has been very strict on RVs.
Yes, we have.
Some other form, maybe, but you do have to.
Modular homes is probably what, you would probably be allowed to do. I mean, you can fill out the paperwork. You can go to the city and talk to Bianca and get the paperwork and fill it out. And then your request for rezoning will come to us or to the council, and the council can decide then, but only if you fill out the application.
okay.
So let me ask one more question. You're intending to run this as a business on these 3 lots with these homes?
Yes.
Okay, so then it's definitely, because you can put a modular home on a.
Permitting process.
But for modular homes, you don't have to do rezoning or anything.
But if you're gonna run a business like such a RV, organic developments, it's basically.
But then it would have to be zoned commercial. You'd have to zone that commercial because it is a commercial business, even though it's a residential lot. And we would. I would also say there would probably be a replat.
It is because it's a business. Yeah. So you have to fill out you have to nominate request, you have to post notice, you have to send notice 200 feet around the area. You have to have 2 public hearings and then you come to the council.
The only request from you is to fill out the paperwork, and if there's a comments there, state your intentions for your lots and the rezoning, and the council will decide on whether they let you rezone or not.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
Let me get, city secretary is a person you'll need to contact at City Hall. You give it to her? Okay.
Thank you, Bianca, for that. Thank you, Dina. So no action needed on number 11. I mean, number 18.
You can't take any action on
No
19
action.
either.
Yeah, no, can't take no action on that.
But
Moving on.
if the applicants are here, they need to.
Moving on to item number 19, discussion and possible action on a request submitted by Bobby and Alicia Hearns. Requesting for permission to rezone 505 Cherokee Street, lot 8, 9, 10, 11, block 77 of Oleander Heights subdivision from Class A, single-family residence to Class G, commercial business district to allow for tire, lube, wheel, alignment, shop. Is Bobby and Alicia here?
Yeah.
Would you like to address the council to see what your intents with this property would be as well?
My intent would be to set over there and set up the I-35, that frontage where, right there where 505 Cherokee. So would like to take those 4 lots closest to the frontage road. And put in our application to get that piece of property be commercial.
We're gonna put it.
Online.
Beautiful things.
Well, it's just the alignment. Yeah, some of the alignments are heavy equipment or heavy.
So the city doesn't have a process and there's an application to make this happen. Have you filled out the application? Okay.
Yeah, probably for you, it's probably gonna be the same thing as, you might also fill out the application and then we council see it.
The things that would help is if you have a record or some kind of a site plan. Permission.
And also the operations. And if the residents comes by, your
Yes.
yes.
Right click there is, it's a whole block.
See, that's a requirement. It's 200 feet from
You don't know.
that area too. It's not a commercial.
Yeah.
You know, but you do have to go through that process.
So if you want to start the process of rezoning your property also, and when the time comes that due to your application being complete, bring it back to city council and we'll hopefully see it in your favor to pass.
Okay. Thank
All
you.
right. Thank you very much and have a good night. No action needed on item number 19 either. Moving on to item number 20, discussion and possible action on a request submitted by Alfredo Zamora requesting a replat to vacate 2 exiting right of ways and incorporating a utility easement for the exiting utility line,
So
existing.
So Mr. Zamora has approached Mr. Dovalina when he was here and he reapproached me about this. I believe Mr. Dovalina has had some conversations with Mr. Pena about this issue. What Mr. Zamora is looking for is that he has a portion of property that butts up to Mr. Kensler on Market Street. And it is platted, that property is platted with a road and with a subdivision already in that property. Mr. Zamora feels that he'll never use that plat and he's asking for a replat. So pretty much at this point, what I'm looking for is the council to instruct staff to look at the replat. So there is also an easement there for a sewer line that we do not, from what I can gather, we do not have an actual easement from him. And we're going to be requesting that easement along with
So
it.
you do a vacate.
Vacate and replat.
Vacate the plat and then you replat. So this is something that Jorge Martinez
Right.
needs to do and tell us, is this going to work?
Yes.
So that process, there's a process that they have to go through.
So on item number 20, we need to instruct staff forward to see if this replat and vacate allows us to get a right of way in there as well, a utility easement. So I seek a first
Will
motion.
that address that flooding issue or this is just the,
This is just paper streets. There's currently no streets there. It's all paper street, but
so for those in the council that may not understand, that plat actually just goes away.
right.
And then they come
And it
back
goes back in.
with a new plat, which will then get filed at the county and then becomes part of your official map.
Where is the location?
The railroad tracks.
Correct.
Behind Ace.
The Red Barns, this property's behind that area. Bud Kinsler owns the property directly behind the Red Barns. To the right, supposedly, which I need to define whether he owns the property or not, but supposedly he owns that property that butts up to Mr. Kinsler's property. So in this process, we are gonna request a deed. We're gonna request a lot of information to verify that he owns it.
Surveys.
Surveys, just different things.
So instructing staff to move forward on item number 28, seek a first motion.
Motion.
First motion by Mr. Lopez, second by Mr. Rodriguez. All in favor, say aye. All opposed, say nay. Motion carries. Moving on to item number 21. Discussion and possible action to approve the purchase of lighting for the Stockman's Bank project in the amount of $16,350 plus freight.
Okay, this quote is coming from our architect. I saw the price and it kind of seemed expensive in my opinion. So I did attempt to get other quotes. RPI Electric out of Laredo, I contacted them and I gave him the schematic and all the information from the architect. And he held it for a week and he called me back and he said, there's no way I can match that price. He goes, my vendor can't even get it for that price. So I'm asking and recommending council to go with this quote. This is for the lighting for the downstairs portion of the Stockman's Bank building. RPI Electric. RPI. Yes. No, they called me back and said they couldn't match the price. The other one's coming from Able City. This is coming directly from our architect. So our architect has a vendor supplier that would supply the material.
There's another company. Look into that. ESI.
Where are they from? Laredo.
Is the lighting also tiered by the commission?
Yeah,
The,
so
historic.
so there was two choices only. The first choice was a low quality, cheaper light. And then there was the choice that you have in front of you. Yeah, they're gonna have to be specific. The electricians are gonna have to go to the same vendor.
This one here might be a little tough to match then.
Yeah, it's going to be, or to beat the price.
But if you want to look into what the councilman is.
I can do that.
But we can accept this, providing that, you you look into it and.
Okay, because that Stockman building itself is it's almost complete. This is the last thing that we're lacking to complete the building.
The project is hard. People can start by spending portions of it.
Well, yeah, so the bottom portion of the building was meant to be a museum, and it was meant to be used as so that like a floating museum to where they could put an exhibit there, keep it there for a portion of time, and then bring in a different exhibit. Yeah. Now, as far as the upstairs portion of it, it has come to me that in the past it was said that the Main Street program could go over there. I think that also we could use it as an area for small business or something like that to use, have computer access, office access, different things like that. So after we complete the building is dedicated, or it's, they have the grand opening on the building, then we can start exploring what we're going to do with the top section.
There's no further questions. Item number 21. Seek a first motion to approve item number 21. First motion is made by Mr. Bertucci, second by Mr. Rodriguez. All in favor, say aye. All opposed, say nay. Motion carries. Moving on to item number 22. Discussion and possible action to appoint a member to the Cristo Rey Management Committee to serve as a representative on behalf of the city of Cotulla as stipulated in the final judgment case number 18-04-00061-CVL.
I was informed today that there was actually an agenda item that already came before the council appointing Ms. Geronima Garza as the representative for the city of Cthulhu on the cemetery board. I'm bringing it in front of you. If the council wants to maintain that, then there's no action. It's that if you all want to change it, then maybe we need to have action on it or obviously find somebody else to do it.
And her duties are to continue with to find
So
the individuals that are buried there.
So yeah, that's I guess that's going to be part of it. In the judgment between this, the judgment is between the city and the county. The county, from what I can see, has the majority of the responsibility as far as maintaining the cemetery. The city's portion is to maintain utilities, water, sewer, gas, whatever may be needed out there is our portion. There has to be a committee that's designated that's going to run the cemetery. So your local churches, the county had one pick, each church had a pick of a person on the board, and the city has one pick. And I believe leaving city administrator and county judge is ex officio over that. But the commission that we designate and our one person from the city, they're pretty much going to make the decisions on what happens at the cemetery. The county has an obligation of a budget for the cemetery of $50,000 a year, and the city also has the same obligation. So this year's budget, we have a line item of $50,000 for the Cristo Rey. But what we need to do is we need to get the commission going or the board going so that we can start using the budget and start making improvements, and they can decide the future. I would say that also as far as charging for the lots, they're going to handle all that. Pretty much all the operation of the cemetery, they're going to decide it.
So the revenue that comes in from that there goes to the county and to the city or
It has its own account.
Yes, it is going to have its own account. Steve, was it the city that had control of that account or the county? Do you know?
The agreement basically sets forth who's going to manage it. I don't think it goes into that kind of detail.
So in the agreement, there was an account, and I think there is still an active account, but we nor county.
Oh, the
nor
one
city
that
have
Ray
access.
Soweto had? Yeah, those are all gone.
Now the other part is currently the way the cemetery is that nobody pays to bury there, and even myself, they're like, no, just go pick a place, and that's what we did. But we're trying to get some organization to it, and we're ordered by a judge to do it, and to have it run as a cemetery should run. So, and that's what we were attempting with this agenda item. So we're going to establish a board. They're going to set the rules from what the judgment says, and they're going to operate it as a business.
It's a management committee. The city still retains control as the county to jointly operate the cemetery. The intent of the committee was that you would have individuals who have an interest in maintaining the cemetery who would then be directly involved in making those decisions, but it's advisory. Okay. They say, hey, we want to spend whatever, and the city says no, then the city doesn't have to do it. You said you wanted Jerry?
Well, I was told today that there was already council action to that effect, and that she was appointed to that.
She was appointed already.
So
she is the appointee.
Jerry,
and she's very vested in it. I know that. I personally think she'd be a great choice, but
You just keep her this year, and if we have another name that comes up, you can let it in for next year.
You have to do this.
Yeah.
You don't have any choice.
You have to.
You have to appoint somebody. You've already agreed to do it.
And after that, the appointments come from the board. But
I don't recall all the details, but this was something that probably should have happened a couple of years ago. But, it's getting there eventually.
correct. The county has the obligation of maintaining the site, the streets, cutting the grass and all that. The city has the obligation of maintaining the utility. So if, I don't know if we know, and I don't know if Jimmy had brought it up in the prior report, but the well did go down there. So the city owns the property between the transfer station and the cemetery. We cleared along the tree line there, and we ran a water line over from the well at the transfer station to continue the water service there. And we're obligated to do it. So we got it done and we did it.
So people do have water sources.
Correct. And we have a fairly new well. I believe that well is like 5 years old. It's a good well, and I believe it'll hold up. I have a concern about the size of the booster pump there. I think we need to upgrade it because we're running from a 1-inch line into a 2-inch to feed. It'll affect velocity, but we're looking up. We need to upgrade.
When we upgrade, yeah. Any other questions on item number 22, Councilman? Okay. If not, I seek a first motion to approve item number 22. First motion by Mr. Lopez, second by Mr. Rodriguez. All in favor, say aye. All opposed, say nay. Motion carries. And I'm sure everybody's favorite, item number 24. It is now 8:31, and this meeting is adjourned.